Education is part of the Living Desert's mission, and it's part of all accredited zoos' reason for being, to making sure that we're giving people resources and knowledge to empower them to make sure that we're making great choices in how we live our lives, how we impact the planet, and what we can do to learn, appreciate, love, and preserve animals and ecosystems.
Well, for my department, COVID was a big one. COVID kind of, as in a lot of facilities across the country, wiped out education programs because they weren't doing them. And volunteer programs, as zoo's not open, you don't need volunteers. And so during that time, there was a lot of staff loss and turnover and kind of reforming of the program. And so that's been kind of my position, is to kind of come in and having that open mind and forward thought to how do we continue to run this program into the future to help create the zoo of the future.
Really, the Urban Conservation Corps, our workforce development program. So the purpose is to put young people to work and train them and get them certifications in the areas of conservation and recycling, and then can take those skills and move on to better employment opportunities. So we hire only 18 to 26-year-olds, and most of them are from the eastern portion of the Coachella Valley. They tend to be the areas where there is less wealth and less in the way of amenities and services.
We are active not only in food distribution at Fine Food Bank, but clothing, pet food, baby food. There's a bunch of other miscellaneous items that do come through for us, and we organize all of those and then distribute those either in distributions or special agencies come with wish lists, and they come and pick up those from us that we've already organized.
My community, the Latinx community in the Coachella, has been going through a lot of things. I mean, first and foremost, the poverty line. And I've noticed through the statistics that Fine Food Bank gives, a lot of my community suffers from food insecurity.
Yeah, so the Living Desert does work with a lot of different people in the Coachella Valley. They look to see what are ways that the community and the Living Desert can work together to impact their local region, their sustainability efforts, their conservation efforts, and to make sure that people are engaged in a positive way where they feel like they're contributing to a better planet and to help wildlife. And so we have a variety of different projects. Our conservation group is working with Torres Martinez youth to empower them and how, as an indigenous group, they can be stewards of the land, relying on local ecological knowledge and mixing that with Western science.
We have a lot of conservation projects helping to repopulate native species in this area. Our next big conservation education project, pollinator pathways and creating pollinator gardens around Coachella Valley. So trying to encourage safe habitat for pollinators, because they're super important to everything. If you like any kind of fruit, basically, you can thank a pollinator for it. And so, and then awareness of trying to shift mindsets away from, oh, we need bright green grass, to, hey, let's plant some native desert planting that's better for the environment, better for the native animals, better for water issues. So ways like that, we're trying to look at not just flora and fauna, but everything as well.
Yeah, so first of all, I really love working for Urban Conservation Corps and Foundation, because we have these dual purposes, right? We're benefiting the environment by putting young people to work in areas that are making a difference. I mean, recycling, I think, if you study it, you can say what you want about it, but, reducing the amount of material that goes to a landfill is a good thing, and getting some of those products turned into new products hopefully is also a good thing. And then on the conservation side, we're doing a lot to benefit the environment. We're removing invasive species, we're making trails safer for people to go out and be able to recreate and be healthy and be able to be outdoors, and we're exposing young people and communities who don't have as much access to the outdoors also to those areas, and opening up opportunities, hopefully with some of the agencies and other land managers, and creating those opportunities for our young people to experience things that they may not have otherwise, because our communities don't have traditionally good access to outdoor recreation.
He aprendido muchas cosas que no me han enseñado casi, de plantas, ir a ver otros paisajes así, un torniquete y muchas cosas así. y muchas te enseñan a cortar con la sierra, te enseñan de las plantas, te enseñan cómo usar esto, las herramientas y es todo eso y te dan certificados.
What's it called? The distribution sites impact my community, but I also have personal experience because a lot of my family members and community members are part of the receiving end of those distribution sites, and I just know that they're always a big help. So just watching that and seeing like this indeed is making an impact, I'm just happy to have just to put my hands in it, just a little bit, as much as I can contribute.
Yeah, it's been really great to be part of an organization where the staff and the volunteers are so passionate. I get to work with people every day that love coming to work, that enjoy what they do, that feel like they're making a difference in the world, and that creates just a positive energy that is infectious, and it makes you want to come to work and be a part of this every single day. So it's been a really great, uplifting place to look forward to on a daily basis.
It opened it to a lot of possibilities. Kind of my past life, I didn't even know what interpretation was, like before I started working here. But working for that organization showed me what interpretation is as a career and what that can look like, and that interpretation is anywhere, and that how important nonprofits are to sciences and in that world, and to not have a government agenda behind you. And so it really opened up avenues I would have never have considered otherwise. If you had told me 10 years ago I'd be working for a zoo in the desert in charge of their volunteer program, I would have laughed hysterically. So it just opened me to possibility for things I would have never considered otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, I just started as director of our Coachella Valley site here in a little less than a year ago, and but I had been working with core members through my role in another nonprofit here locally for over 10 years. So I had been out in the field with crews doing invasive species work, and I was so impressed with the crews that I fell in love with the organization and what they do and with the people. And so when I had an opportunity to come on, I jumped at it.
But just like really meeting the people out here, just realizing there's a community out here and people come from like the same backgrounds I'm from, like so like drug addicts or being homeless, like that. It just made me feel like I'm not alone in this, and it feels good to show like these kids, that you can come from this neighborhood and then still go to college, have goals to go to law school, and they always say, Ruben, what are you doing here? I was like, you guys can do the same thing,
Working for an NGO has a unique energy around it. Coming to work every day to give to others and helping others to do the same is really what drives not this company, but this purpose. And to be a part of that purpose every day is the deepest and most fulfilling part on a personal level, but also on a community level.
I did most of my first ever community service, I guess, being part of the Catholic, community in Palm Springs. Because I'm familiar with the work already, I understand how rewarding, I guess, it is in turn. It becomes part of the routine, and I feel like once your volunteering experience becomes a part of your routine, it just feels really good. And it doesn't feel like something like, wow, like look at this. It's like, I'm part of my community and this is what I'm doing. Yeah, yeah.
So the Palm Desert trip for me was beyond just an extraordinary experience. It was my second year going. Man, just that experience again of being there, being there to support the community, seeing their faces, seeing their emotions, like helping those people that are in need really meant something to me.
So the Palm Desert trip for me was very impactful. It was very fulfilling work, seeing these nonprofits specifically work on issues within that community.
The Palm Desert trip for me was very amazing. Being that I'm from the community, it was great to see how the food touched so many lives.
The Palm Desert trip for me was impactful.
The Palm Desert trip to me felt very rewarding.
The Palm Desert trip for me was path defining.
Was illuminating.
It was a really captivating experience.
It was a bonding experience.
was very rewarding.
It's very transformative.